Today we are going to be talking about all of the lifestyle changes that I have made within the last 6 months in order to achieve the healthiest life I can now that I am in my 50s. I have done a few life update videos. I did one, I think it was at the beginning of the summer in May or June when I first started on HRT. However, that didn't really kickstart my whole journey into kind of finding things that work within my lifestyle that can help me live a more healthy and long life now that I've hit my 50s. So about a year ago, I had made the decision that I just needed to find something that worked for me and for my lifestyle, and just really trying to commit to getting my body as healthy as I possibly could. Trying to figure out what kind of was going on with my body now that I am 50, I am perimenopause. I was showing a lot of symptoms. I had tried a lot of different things previous to this. In January, I started working out consistently daily, doing pure bar classes. So this whole journey kind of decided when I turned 49, I made the decision, I was like, I need to figure out what works for me and my lifestyle before I hit 50. I had tried a lot of different hormone replacement things. I had tried a lot of different diets. I have tried so many different things out there as far as weight loss journeys, because as I found, I had MJ when I was 38. I just started then ticking that weight up and up and up continuously. And yet I had tried all these different things and nothing really stuck. So I kind of gave myself a year to figure out what works for me and works for my body. And I had tried going to classes. I did that continuously. When I started HRT, which was in May, right before I went away for summer, and I really gave my thoughts behind why I decided to try this. And then through the summer, I did do, I think middle of the summer, I did one update video telling you guys kind of what I had done since I started that HRT and in through that whole process of the summer and the summer changes and things like that. And then in the fall, when I came back, which was end of August, early September, I did do another video letting you guys know kind of where I stood with everything. And at that point, I think I was down about 10 pounds. I might be wrong on that, something like that. And I had then consistently been sticking to what I was doing, and I was feeling pretty good about it. So in my last video, I had a lot of people asking for me to kind of break down a little bit more so what the things I was doing and what were the items that I was sticking with, what are the items that were helping me out. And this video is definitely much more about what has worked for me, what is consistently working for me, and what I have stuck with for now almost a full year. I did learn that I don't really have reactions to dairy. I don't have any reactions to poultry. I don't have any reactions to eggs. Now, I was also tracking my food, and I was tracking my food using MyFitnessPal, and it's an app. You can do the free version. And it used to be the free version actually had the scanner option. And I'm pretty sure now it's a paid option. I think I pay $9.99 a month. I get the scanner option. I also get the ability at the top, instead of breaking down my calories, it breaks down my macros. So my carbs, my fats, and my proteins. And I have learned that I really need to focus in on my protein. You guys have all heard people say that. Now, I am not someone who is going to be able to do the whole carnivore thing or the keto thing or any of these types of options. I like a lot of variety. I eat pretty much everything. I will try any type of food and see what I think of it and then make a decision. So I am very versatile in my food, and I also enjoy going out to eat. So using MyFitnessPal was the best thing. I've tried a lot of different apps, and it was the best one I have found for tracking my food on a daily basis. Now, I will say with that, one of the key things I learned as well is my breakfast is usually one of 3 different things: Lunch is the harder one for me where I have trouble kind of fitting it in. And dinner is pretty much during the week a fairly consistent within choices that I have. They're usually within a certain calorie range, and they are usually, I try to keep them on the lower carb side. Now with that, I will say how I do this through MyFitnessPal is first things first, is I do add in whatever dinner I am having that evening first. Yes, first. You might be saying, why are you putting that in the morning? Because my dinner is my biggest meal. So if I put that in the morning and then I put my breakfast in, I know what I can play with as far as my lunch and my snack. Now you might be saying also, I don't know what I'm cooking for dinner daily. And for me, what we have done for many, many years is we do a meal prep delivery service. We use HelloFresh. I've tried a lot of different ones out there. HelloFresh is my by far favorite one I have tried. I like that I have the ability to go in, depending on the week, I choose 3 or 4 meals. I do this for a family of 2 or meals prepared for 2 people. Yes, there are 3 of us. So there's myself, Marty, and MJ. MJ is still in that little bit of a picky food stage. So what I do with HelloFresh is when I place the order, there is also the option to add protein. So what I do for him, because he doesn't usually want the sides or the main, I will actually take whatever the protein is and just grill it basic, brown it basic, or cook it very basic within what I'm cooking. So it makes meal prep as far as I don't have to run to the grocery store every week and go, what do I need? And buy big bulk versions of cilantro, and I only need this much cilantro. So it's very helpful. They come in individual bags that are labeled, so you are able to just set it in the fridge and grab the bag when you need it, along with the protein that goes with whatever meal. They are easy to follow. You can determine how long the recipe is. You can make premium picks. You can add on lots of extra options in through HelloFresh. And the cost of what we have saved, Marty at first was not on board for this a couple of years ago when we started this. Actually, it was many years ago because it was back many years before COVID we started these, I think. And what it was he was like, it's a waste of money. You're not going to need this. Now he's singing a different tune. Now he sits there and says to me, you should order the HelloFresh because it is so much less expensive because I'm not buying all this stuff that's going to waste. Plus, I literally just in the morning look at the recipe options I have left, choose one, and we go. Now I did get a box in this week and I recorded it, so I'm going to insert it in right here so you can see what this looks like when I receive it to my front door. I just received my HelloFresh box. This one's a heavy one this week. I have been using this, gosh, so many years before COVID even. HelloFresh is my go-to one. So you get the box in, and on the top of it are your recipes. This week I have 3 recipes. Creamy Dijon dill chicken, which takes 30 minutes to cook and is 510 calories. Banh mi style turkey meatball bowls, which is 30 minutes to cook and 770 calories. And then Italian chicken over lemony spaghetti with zucchini is 30 minutes and 740 calories. So the package comes like this, and you can see, you just flip this little part right here up, which is the recycled packaging. It comes with amazing ice packs that are recyclable. Throwing mine in the sink for right now while I do this. And then each meal comes in a package like this. So this is the Italian chicken. So you simply throw them into your refrigerator. They are ready to go. They're easy. And then there is another ice pack here. And you have all of your protein is down below. Now, some weeks I will say I take the time and I do double protein, which is an option, and we just have a little bit extra protein because the more protein, the better. And sometimes I get them traditional and just throw in a little bit extra protein I have in the house. The great thing about the proteins is not only can you double your protein, you can also choose to change your proteins. Perfect example, last week we had one that was a pork bowl. And although we're fine with pork, we would rather something a little bit leaner like chicken or turkey. So it was ground pork, and I switched it out for ground turkey last week. A lot of the recipes are interchangeable. You can interchange ground turkey or chicken breast if you want something that's a little bit more on that healthy side. But there is another ice pack all the way down in the bottom that these were between. I'm gonna let those drain out and recycle them. And all of the packaging inside is completely recyclable, which is great. This makes it so easy. I personally love cooking. However, I hate having to think of what to cook and decide each night. So now I just simply go, which one sounds good? And that's how we decide. Now I will say with HelloFresh, it makes it very easy when you're using MyFitnessPal. You can simply type in the name of the actual recipe and the word HelloFresh after that. And 99.9% of the time, these items show up in as an option. Someone else has already entered it in. If it's not one you find, you can simply create a recipe and enter the details in and then log the food that way. HelloFresh has been a godsend for me because I personally love cooking. And what we tend to do around here is I generally cook on Sunday through Thursday. God love Marty. He was like, I'll cook on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He is very good at a lot of things, but my OCD, I cannot, and I enjoy cooking. My OCD cannot handle having him cook dinner. So our deal now is Sunday through Thursday, I cook dinners and I cook them with HelloFresh, and I add in one dinner, or we may go out one time, or sometimes he may have a meeting, or we might have a sporting event or something like that. And then Fridays and Saturdays, I don't cook. Now, before I get too far into how I handle when I go out to eat, I do want to mention that HelloFresh was kind enough to sponsor this video. They were kind enough to provide me with a discount code that will give you 10 free meals. All of the details and how you can get those 10 free meals is listed down in the description box if you are interested. But if you have not tried this, trust me, give it a shot. It is game changing. Now on to when I eat out. A lot of people say, how do you know what to do when you eat out? How do you track when you eat out? I used to kind of, what I would say was skimp on my tracking is I would track the main part of the meal, right? I would track the protein and I would track the vegetable, but I might not track the fact that more than likely it was cooked in a butter or an oil or had a sauce. I would be like, oh, I didn't eat much of that. And I think I used to think by doing that, and with that then staying within my so-called calories or macros, that I was kind of cheating the system. I was only cheating myself because I was lying essentially to myself about how many calories or how many carbs or fats or protein I was eating, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. So I made the conscious decision to simply track everything. And if I didn't know what it was, I added a tablespoon of butter. I added a tablespoon of oil. I added a full, however much I thought it was, of a sauce. And yes, that can be tedious, but I've also learned my OCD used to think I had to pick the exact item, right? It had to be exactly the sauce. If it was a demi-glaze, it had to be the red wine demi-glaze. It doesn't. Just try to track as close as you can and track on the higher side if you are unsure of what is in something, because you have a better chance of then looking at it and realizing where your issues are, where you made a mistake, and the next time you go out to eat, you will make a better decision. I used to have a habit of every time we went out, I would get a salad with some sort of protein on it, and I would be like, I'm eating good. I made a good choice while I was out. Sometimes that salad with the salad dressing and whatever else they were putting on that salad and that piece of meat I was eating was more in my macros or calories than if I had just simply gotten what I really was craving and eaten maybe half of that. If I really was craving a burger, rather than getting a burger on a salad with some sort of heavy dressing, I am better off eating a half of the burger that I was actually craving and logging it. And then I know for the future, which options work best for me. The other key thing is it is hard to track on weekends. I am aware we are all busy, but even when you are busy, even if it's a day later, even if it's on Monday, sit down and track it. Take pictures while you are somewhere eating. Just take a photo of it and then track it on Monday. Even tracking it after, which might not be able to then resolve the fact that you had something that wasn't the best for you, or you went over on your macros or your calories, but it will help you the next time you are out make a better decision. So the next thing I want to talk about is moving away from food somewhat. I am always looking for a good way, as I mentioned, to track my food, to know how my body is burning through things, to understand my body the best I could. And I saw an ad, I've seen this a lot of times. Oh, it was during Prime Days, Amazon Prime Days. They had a deal on this, and this is called the Lumen. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen or heard of this. It's this little device here, and I'll turn it on. It's going to be red right now. I don't know if you can see the color because I don't have it on my phone right now. And it is an app. And what you do with this is every morning, I'm going to start with that. You breathe into this. So you inhale in for 3 seconds, you hold your breath for 10 seconds, and then you breathe back out for another 3 seconds. And when you do that, it actually calculates how your body is burning through the fuel it has inside currently. It tells you how your body is burning through your carbs and your fats in your system. Now you want to be closer to the fat burn, as an example, daily, because you want your body to burn through that fat. If it's burning through carbs, it's burning through excess carbs that you have in your system. Now here's a couple of things. It took me a while to figure out the exacts of this. And part of what had intrigued me on this also is after you breathe in this in the morning, you then can breathe into it before a workout, after a workout. So you want to do 30 minutes before a workout, 30 minutes after a workout. You can breathe into it before you eat and up to 2 hours after you eat. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I was just not wowed, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm carrying this thing with me. I'm stopping. You have to sit down and calm your breath down for a minute before you do it. It just was very cumbersome and a lot of work. But what I was interested in is after you do your morning breath, it calculates your calories in macros for the day, telling you how many carbs, fats, and protein you should have. Now with that, you then can track your food and your nutrition through the app, which at first I was like, okay, I'm going to try this one. This is going to be a great option for MyFitnessPal. And if I can use this instead, I'll get rid of that membership, keep this membership. And then it has this added feature of knowing my actual breath inside of my physical body daily. And the tracking was not easy through their app. A lot of foods weren't in there. A lot of things that I scanned a barcode didn't work. Then they had an option, which I was excited about. You could take a picture of a meal and it would break down all of the foods in it. And I get it. It's nearly impossible for an app to do that. But it was just, I think like I would scan a salad and it got 2 items that were right in it. So I'm better off just adding the items myself. And MyFitnessPal has way more options, I think, because a lot more people use it. So I was like, okay, I don't want to have both memberships. And to my own fault, I contacted them because it said 30-day return policy when I purchased. However, my own fault, I did not read the fine print. It was a 30-day return policy on an unopened and unused item. And this isn't cheap. Even with the Prime Deal Days discount thing that I got, it was still $200. And so it's my own fault. I'm stuck with it. Will I use it? I will say I have been using it mornings just to know where my body is as far as what it's burning. However, I don't use it before I eat. I don't use it before I work out. I was using it before I went to bed. It's just way too much. Too much work. Honestly, it's just a hassle is the best way to put it. So if anyone out there was considering purchasing the Lumen or trying it, just as a heads up, be aware of that 30-day return policy and read the fine print. Number 2, be aware of the fact that it is slightly cumbersome and time consuming. So I personally would not recommend this. It hasn't given me any amazing information. I am not going to renew my membership. When you get this, you do get your first month free. However, I just wouldn't recommend it. Now let's talk about workouts and just what I do to keep my body moving. The first things first is, you guys may or may not have heard me talk about this. I have talked about this on and off. I want to say it was COVID. It's probably COVID time. Yes, it was. During COVID, we lived at the Cape House for 1.5 years, and I tried every online service you could think of. And they were fine, but nothing really just spoke to me or worked for me or really just held my interest, to be honest with you. I tried a lot of them, and I just really had trouble. However, there was one that back then was called Evlo, and they had contacted me and given me like a free trial, and I used it during COVID, and it back then was every day at 9 a.m. They uploaded a live video, and it was kind of, I think, on YouTube even then, and you watched it and you did the workout. Now here's the great part about what was then Levo, and is now Evlo. I'm just going to call it Evlo because that's the name I'm now used to for the last couple of years. And I did it consistently. It was 30 minutes a day. And it was, the great thing about this, it was designed by Dr. Shannon, who is a physical therapist, a doctor of physical therapy. And she came up with this kind of method to working out your body and strengthening. This is my strength training. She does have little cardio things in there as well. I don't personally do that. There also is some information in there as far as eating habits. I haven't really dove far into that. Maybe I should take a look at that just for some more knowledge. However, what I use it for is strength training. And it is so good because as I've gotten older, my joints hurt, my bones hurt, my muscles hurt. Joints would click and pop. My shoulder, my elbow, my knee, my ankles. Just those like catching, clicking things that we all hear as we get a little bit older. And those have been minimized to such an extent, it is crazy, through doing her classes. So now it has changed. It is Evlo. There are 3 teachers primarily. So it's Shannon, Peyton, and Jill. And they teach different classes. So Monday is upper body build. Tuesday is lower body build. Wednesday is it's like abs, but they call it something else. Thursday is, you know what it was? I think it was called mat burn because you're down on the mat for the majority of it. Thursday is build plus, so it is shorter amounts with higher weights. And then Friday is full body. And then they suggest recovery days of Saturday and Sunday, which works with my schedule amazingly. I do this daily. It takes about 35 minutes. The part I love too is, especially on Mondays, you stay very low to the ground on Mondays because Mondays, most times I'm not really feeling it as much so, but when you are low to the ground and doing all upper body low to the ground, it really does spark that interest in doing it because you're like, okay, I'm just laying down. But then you're like, oh, I'm getting a work in. And it just feels really good. Also on Mondays, they do a longer warm up. And every single day, I never thought I would be someone that my OCD brain could handle this. But the last few minutes of class are a cool down and then a few seconds to a minute in Shavasana. I can never say that word right. And it really has helped me to just breathe and balance, but build up. I remember when I started doing these classes, I had a 3 pound, a 5 pound, and a 10 pound weight. I now have everything from a 2-pound weight, which I hardly ever try, to a 30-pound weight. And the majority of the things I do now are anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, which just astonishes me because I used to struggle when I remember buying the 15-pound weights and being like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to pick this up. And I feel stronger. I feel better. I feel like my joints are happy. I feel good. And it's quick. It's quick. It's to the point. Their way of teaching is so nice, so calming. I just absolutely love it. You don't need a lot of things in order to do this at home. If you are looking for something at home, give it a shot. I don't have any discount codes or anything. I wish I did, but they are amazing. It is just so good. It is so nice. And you feel great after you do it. And I feel much stronger as well. Now, in addition to the workouts, I want to say, so it's been a year as of September that I started walking consistently. Now, at first, I started with 15 minutes a day. I'd go out, I'd do one walk, 15 minutes, and I was done. And then I kind of worked my way up to 2 of them. That through the winter, it was cold, it was snowy, and I wasn't able to get outside to do those walks every day. So I was doing that on a treadmill I had in my house, which nowadays, by the way, guys, walking pads are so much easier. They're smaller than a treadmill. They do what you need. I wish I have a treadmill at this house and one at that house, so I don't need one. But if either of them break, that is what I would be getting. It is perfect just to have in your house to get your walks done. Now, I will say, I would pick a show, watch a show for 30 minutes and just walk, and I need to hit 3 miles or 30 minutes. Then as we got in through the summertime and the springtime, I did start walking outside again. I would go for a walk for about an hour, and it was on a rail trail, and I would walk, turn around, and come back. And I just consistently did that. Then when we came back here, I kind of got back into my routine with work and different things, and MJ being in school, that it was a little bit harder to go and just do my walk like all in one shot. During the summer, I kind of needed to do it then. So now that we're back here and it's been through the fall, I do a 10-minute walk. After MJ leaves for school, he rides his bike to school every day. Again, not as the winter happens, but now. And I take the dogs and I go for a quick walk around the block by us. And it takes about 10 to 12 minutes, give or take. And it's about a half a mile. And then I go, after I've done my workout and eaten breakfast, I go and do about a 30-minute walk, which is almost 2 miles. Then I'll do around lunchtime, I'll do another quick 10-minute walk. And then before dinner time, usually with Marty, I'll do that little bit longer walk as well. So all in all, I do a good amount of walking. As I mentioned, I didn't start out this way. This has been over a year now of walking, and I really do enjoy it. I look forward to going outside. My dogs enjoy going. It really is just kind of one of those things, like being out in that fresh air, even when it's cooler, makes me feel good. Now, one of the things I added in, I want to say it was last spring, was I added in a weighted vest. The one I purchased off of Amazon, and I will say there are a lot of different ones out there. I've seen the one that has the clips on the front, which is a set weighted vest, which I originally picked up, and then I got it in and I was like, wait, this is just, I think it was like 6 or 8 pounds. And I was like, this is great, but if I ever want to go up, I have to buy a whole new vest. So I actually went and invested with this one. And what I like about this one is actually, you're going to hear the Velcro for a minute. This one is an adjustable weighted one, and it has little sandbags inside of the base of it that you can adjust. I'm pulling one out now. So it has these little sandbags, and I think each one of them is 3/4 pound. And you can put them along, it kind of goes around the front of you and the back of you. This one is much nicer because it has much more support, I feel like, in through the shoulders. There is a weight right on the chest. There is a little pocket in the front. There is a spot if you don't have wireless earbuds that you can run your wire through and plug your phone into the earbuds and have those on. The only thing I will say that I don't love about it is you have to put it over your head. So I keep one side Velcroed. So I put it over my head and then I just Velcro the other side. But this one is adjustable. I think it was from 6 pounds to 12 pounds. I only have 2 weighted sandbags left out. So what's that, 1.5 pounds off? I am at about 10.5 pounds daily with this. Now I wear this when I go on my longer walks. I don't do this when I'm just doing my quick little 10 to 15 minute walks. So I will say that for me, the additional weighted option was great. You can pick and choose what works best for you. Both are available on Amazon and are great options. But adding that added weight with the weighted vest really helps to keep your heart rate up. I also have found I have lost almost 10 pounds, a little bit more so at this point. So with that, it kind of just feels like it used to. Now, there are some days where this feels light as air and it just feels like nothing. There are also some days where this feels like I am walking through mud with this on. We are going to have days that are good and are bad. It is not going to be consistent. But the fact that I've added that in, I do think has helped me with really kind of like adding a little bit extra of that cardio. My joints do not do well with high impact cardio. This walking has been both relaxing and helpful for me since I've started doing it. And now it's kind of a little bit of an obsession. Like, I don't like when I miss a daily walk. Now, I will say as well is midsummer, beginning to mid of summer, I want to say it was, I was noticing that my heel on my left side was bothering me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I must have bruised my heel, right? Because keep in mind, at that time of year, I'm walking on the beach with no shoes on. I'm wearing flat sandals. I'm walking barefoot a lot during the summer, whether it's in my house, at the beach. So I was like, oh, I must have like stepped on something funny and bruised my heel. And I would find the longer I walked, the better it got. But the worst of it was if I sat down to watch TV at night with Marty, or I went to bed and got up in the morning. Those were the two horrible times. I would stand up and it was like, whoa, it was like I couldn't put weight on it. It was crazy. So I did a bunch of research. I talked to a physical therapist and I realized I have something called plantar fasciitis that I then found out also runs in my family. And what it is your arch is actually the muscle in your arch, which this makes sense. When you wear more flat-footed shoes, your arch isn't getting enough support and it's tightening, but it's pulling on the heel. Now, I did not realize until we got back here in the fall that that's where it was. Now, I will say first I went onto Amazon and looked for inserts that would help your heel. And I found some from Dr. Scholl's. It worked during the summer, but they weren't anything that I would be like, ooh, you should try this. So as I did my research, I found a few things. This is the first thing. These are a pair of socks from a brand called Feetures, Feetures. And these are specifically the ones for plantar fasciitis. And if you see this right here, it actually has this kind of like band through it. And then on this side as well, in through this area. And these are actual compression socks. And you can see right here, this one is for the right foot. They are labeled because you want this part on your arch of your right foot. So you're putting your foot into it and it is on the arch. So that compression is pulling that arch back up. They are pricey, but oh my gosh, they are amazing. I cannot say enough good things about these. I have now purchased multiple pairs. They are the only socks that I am wearing right now. It's so good. I can wear them with anything and it is just game changing. Then I picked up a pair of insoles specifically for plantar fasciitis. These are from Amazon as well. It's called the Valsole. This is what it looks like. It has a bunch, but you can see that arch support, and then it also has a shock absorber for more your heel area, which is where the problem is. Once you have this arch going flat, this is where your pressure is. And so this has been really great for that. I just slide them into my shoes, into the different sneakers. I've had a lot of suggestions on different sneakers. The Lululemon sneakers, I got them in. I haven't worn them yet because they're all white and I'm worried about getting them dirty. Pick up the On ones. They're pretty much white as well. This is the one that I have on today. Again, you just take this insert and you're gonna just push it straight in and it goes right into your shoe. No issues, no problems. This was a specific one that was supposed to be really good for that same reason. Now, my personal favorite is the Nike Air Max 270. This is what it looks like. These ones are my all-time favorite. I have 2 pairs in this color. These with that insole are my all-time favorite. I just love these. They are the most comfortable. They are the easiest to wear. It is easy to adjust this through here. I also love that you can just pull them on. They're slip-on versus having to tie and untie them. Even with the insert, the only thing is you have to take out their kind of like insole and you just slide this right in. But these are by far my favorite sneakers with that insole. Now, the absolute game changer on my plantar fasciitis is this thing called a VI bit. I got this on Amazon as well. These things you can buy direct too, but Amazon just always gets them to me quicker. I think it was like $10 more through Amazon than through their site, but it got to me way quicker. This was just like, it's chargeable. You just plug it in, it's rechargeable. It has different settings. You can see here, it's this little like, has different bumps to it. And when you turn it on through here, there are different settings. I'm sure you can see or hear that. It's vibrating and then higher. And what I do daily at night, usually while I'm watching TV, it's a little loud and a little annoying, is I put this under your foot and you just roll on it. Oh my gosh, the first couple times it was a little painful. Now I love it. And my foot is probably like 95% better now, which is crazy to me. But this is an absolute must-have, so good. This has just, because it stretches it out. It's rolling on those arches and it really just stretches it out. So, so, so good. So if you have plantar fasciitis, just a heads up, give it a try. Can I just say, guys, it is abnormally warm again this week here. And it started out with my hair curled. Legitimately, it has fallen because it is so warm in here today. I refuse to turn my AC back on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is something that I've had we're right almost on a year. I got this little ring you're seeing right here last year during Black Friday. And I got this ring during the Black Friday sale. I think through Best Buy, because I think at the time that was the only place you could get it. Now you can purchase them through Amazon as well. And this little ring, I am obsessed with this. I know a lot of people wear Apple Watches and can track their steps, their workouts and things like that, but this blows that away. I have to charge it maybe once a week. I'd say every 6 days or so. I just put it on while I'm editing a video most times. It charges within usually about 30 minutes at the most. But this tracks my sleep, it tracks my walking, it tracks my steps, it tracks my workouts, it tracks my period, it tracks my different moods, it tracks my resilience to just how my body is reacting. It is amazing, amazing. If I can suggest one thing, I thought daily I was getting in. To give you an idea, when I started wearing this a year ago, I thought I was getting in around 10,000 steps in a day. I was getting in way more steps than I realized because I didn't realize I was only thinking about or checking on the steps when I was physically outside walking. Now I average anywhere from 15 to 20,000 in a day, most days. So if you are looking for a gift idea, if you need something for yourself or for someone else, this is a great option. It does not matter what finger, once you've calibrated it, it kind of registers no matter where it is. It has these little, you can maybe see it lit up right now. When you're moving around a lot, it does turn green to register your movements, and then it also turns red at night and it's registering your sleep. Not anything that you would notice. You have to really look for it. It's on the inside, but I love this little baby and it is just so, so, so great. So I want to talk to you lastly about measurements and photos, let's talk about those and we'll be finishing this up. First part of it is measurements. I try to do measurements monthly around the beginning of the month. I will say I actually keep these printed at my computer, and these are all the ones I've done over time. Like, it's great. I will say when my highest on these, I was at 168, it looks like, was my highest. Yeah, 168 was my highest, and 157.9 is right now what I am currently at. So these started in May 27th of 2020. Oh, I was 170. Here we go. 5/15 of 23, I was 170. And let's just look at this just for giggles here. So my abs were 40 inches. They are now 36. My arms were 12 and a half. They are now 11. My calves were 15. They're now 14. My chest was 40 and a quarter. I'm now 36. Wow. My hips were 44. I'm 40 now. My thighs were 24 and a half, 25. So they were close on either side. I'm 22. And my waist was 36. I'm 30 now. That's a big difference. I don't think I've ever looked at it in that way. I don't think I've gone back and checked these. That's crazy. Now, I did do photos for a long while. The problem with photos is just taking the time to do them. I don't know why. I've not been as consistent with that. I haven't done photos since before summer, so maybe next month I'll do photos. Those are more for my own personal. Maybe at some point I might share them, but I'm kind of impressed now that I'm looking at this. I'm doing okay. I do need to get back into taking photos, but I will say just yesterday, this bad boy came in. My girlfriend suggested this to me. I have been weighing myself once a week consistently for quite some time. And she said to me something, she and I were talking about our weight check-ins. I have a girlfriend that she and I keep each other on track. And she was talking about the fact that hers was telling her her fat percentage and her BMI and all of that. And I was like, can you send me a link for this? And so I got it on Amazon. It's called a Fit Track. Yeah, that's all it says, Fit Track. I don't know if it's a certain model. It just came in yesterday, again from Amazon. I'm excited to play with it. I weighed myself this morning for the first time on it. Technically not at my 1 week mark. I usually weigh myself, just as a heads up too, on a Friday. And here's my thought process behind that. A Friday is because I have been fairly good or trekking or doing my best at eating throughout the whole week. And if I weigh in on Friday morning and it's good and it's moving in the right direction, it keeps me more motivated to stay on track for the rest of the weekend. Just my thoughts. But so I did just weigh myself on this morning to get it all calibrated, and I will weigh myself in on Friday again to see and just see where it goes from there. One more thing. This is off the beaten path, but I was at a lacrosse game this weekend. There was a mom there that it was free. It was so nice during the day. By the end of the night, because it was a night game, like a tournament through the day and went into the night. At night, it was so cold and gross, and our weather has been all over the place. And she's like, I got this heated battery packed jacket from Amazon. Oh my gosh, I just ordered it today because we have another one coming up this weekend. And I was thinking for my walking, it might actually get it so I do my walking outside in the winter. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. If you're interested in seeing that, let me know your thoughts. So those are all of my updates on kind of my fitness and health journey as I've been in my 49s now into my 50s, what I'm doing to kind of keep myself on track and what has been working for me now consistently for over a year. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have questions on anything I talked about, please let me know. I am here to help you. And as always, have a great weekend.